I once had a medical emergency of a man started passing out next to me at 30,000 feet. I was on a flight seated next to a soccer coach, surrounded by his entire team. And midway through the flight, I noticed something wasn't right. He started bobbing forward, and then back, and then forward again. At first, I thought he was just tired, but then I realized he was losing consciousness intermittently. I asked if he was okay. He said, yeah, just a bit dizzy, and that's always a red flag. So I introduced myself properly. I told him that I'm a doctor, and that's when the story changed. He looked at me and said, I actually feel terrible. So I checked his pulse. It was in the 30s, and that's dangerously low. At that point, this isn't just dizziness anymore. So I laid him flat across the seats, trying to get enough blood flow back to his brain to keep him awake. And we alerted the crew, who understandably became a bit frantic, but I could actually see the relief when they realized my wife and I are both doctors. Because here's the reality. Medical emergencies in flight are extremely tricky. No proper room to examine, no ECG, and to my surprise, not even a pulse oximeter. I managed to check his blood pressure with a substandard stethoscope in a noisy cabin 90/60. For a well-built, fit-looking middle-aged man, and that's very low. So we stay with him for the rest of the flight, monitoring him constantly, keeping him conscious, while his whole soccer team looked understandably concerned. We asked the pilot to radio ahead for an ambulance on standby, and then we landed. Paramedics came on board, hooked him up to an ECG, and that's when it became clear. He was in complete heart block, a dangerous rhythm where the electrical signals between the top and bottom chambers of the heart are completely disconnected. And that explains everything. The slow pulse, the dizziness, the near blackouts. He didn't look sick, but his heart was failing to communicate. And here's the part that stays with me at 30,000 feet. You don't really get a second chance to miss this. So if you ever feel like you might pass out, don't ignore it, because sometimes it's your heart going dangerously quiet. Follow for more real hard facts.